Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, I'm so excited because I am doing a draw this again, and I'm sure it's no surprise to anybody, but these are always my favourite kind of videos to make. I will warn you now, this is a bit of a long video, so you might want to get your sketchbook out and draw along with me. The reason it's so long is because I was drawing for about, I think, 7 hours, so I didn't want to speed up the footage too much and have it all whiz by without you being able to see what I was properly doing. So this is a draw this again of an old piece of art from 2016, and the original piece was called Fading Fairy. Now this wasn't the piece I originally intended to redraw today. I was actually going to redraw my piece called Changes for, I think, the 5th time in a row. The reason I decided not to do that was because I actually still kind of like the redraw I did last year, and I don't think there's much I could do now to improve upon it. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to have much luck with redrawing Changes, so I think I will just start a whole new redraw of a different piece altogether. And I'd never attempted to redraw this piece, Fading Fairy, so I thought it would be interesting to see how I would reimagine it now, especially considering it was literally one of my favourite pieces I had ever drawn. So I was a bit scared because I didn't want to mess this redraw up, but I am very happy with how the final result came out. One thing that I definitely wanted to improve upon was the anatomy. I felt like the anatomy of the old one really didn't look right, so I think I made it look a little bit better. I still don't think it's perfect, but it's a lot closer to how it should look, I think. And you can't see it yet, but later on in the drawing I do actually add in her other arm and her hand. I just feel like it makes the picture look a little bit more alive and like she's moving a little bit more. And I actually drew a hand. I actually challenged myself to draw a hand. If you've been subscribed for a long time, you know I've had this kind of ongoing battle with hands for a very long time. They are hard to draw, I think we can all admit that, but in this piece, I actually didn't have as much of a hard time as I normally do. Admittedly, I did make her wear a glove, and I'm not sure if the glove looks a little bit strange or not, but I was really happy anyway because I drew a hand, and for that reason, I am proud of myself. Also in the redraw, you'll notice that I wanted to keep the kind of purpley hues that I had going on in the old drawing. I normally like to stray away from saturated colours, however I think it really added to the magical feeling of the old drawing, so that's why I added those kind of saturated purples into the shadows. I think it does make it look a little bit more magical. And another thing I wanted to talk about is I used to do the kind of grayscale to colour thing in Krita a lot, where I would paint a drawing in just black and white grayscale and then add the colour in later in the piece. And the reason I used to do that a lot was because I was trying to teach myself how to do tonal ranges properly and how to make sure I included really dark tones and really light tones within a piece, have like the full tonal range. I used to do that because I hadn't properly learnt yet, but these days I don't really tend to do black and white to colour anymore, just because I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of tonal range now. Especially when you compare that old drawing to my newer one, you can see that my darks are a lot darker and my light colours are a lot lighter too. It's interesting that the piece is called Fading Fairy because when you look at the piece, there isn't much contrast there and it kind of looks faded in that way, which wasn't what I was going for, by the way. I also watched my old video. The old drawing is actually a Speedpaint on my channel as well, which I will link down below, although I don't recommend watching that video because my commentary was so bad back then. I was trying to rewatch the video just to see, like, find some insight into why I drew this piece to begin with, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't remember why I drew this in the first place. So that's why I was watching that old video. I wanted to find out where did the inspiration hit for the Fading Fairy piece, and I didn't even really talk about it in the video. Like, my commentary was so bad. I feel like at least I've gotten a tiny bit better at making commentary. I mean, I really hope so. But yeah, I think all I really said was that I just decided I wanted to draw it. and that was the only reason for it. So that wasn't very helpful, because when I draw something, I like to know the story behind it. I feel like it just makes it a lot better for me to capture a character when I know what's going on and what the situation is. I hope I explained that right. I feel like I didn't word that very well. Basically what I'm trying to say is I wanted to know what was happening in this piece. Why is she kind of turning towards us like that? Why is she standing there? Why are the two fairies hovering near her? So when I was drawing it, I was like, you know, I'm not going to get much out of that old video. I don't know why I did this. So I'm going to make a story up as I draw it. So because she is kind of fading into the air, I guess, and because there's this fading going on, I didn't understand whether she herself is the fading fairy. I would assume so, because she's the one that's fading, but she doesn't look like a fairy because she doesn't have wings, which is what then led me on to think, oh, maybe her wings are the things that are fading. Either she had wings and she lost them, or she's never even gained her wings. But I really like the idea that she had wings and then she lost them by maybe breaking some kind of forbidden fairy rule. And I really like that idea. I feel like I did paint her eyes with a slight hint of melancholy. It might only be me that sees it, but I think it's because her eyes are a little bit downturned. She looks slightly sad. I think what I was trying to go for was that her wings have faded away and she's kind of just staring off into the distance longingly. One thing I will mention is that I asked on Instagram for people to give me some constructive criticism about the old piece, about what could be improved, and a lot of people said the expression, which regretfully I barely even changed in my redraw. I will admit that that is something that could have been so much better. I did kind of keep it to this same expression and I didn't really push it much further. The reason for which being that I didn't think I could really do much else with the expression. Sometimes I think that you don't have to have an extreme expression in every single painting. That being said, I do think it was a bit of a cop-out. Maybe I was being a little bit lazy with that, but that's the one aspect of my draw this again which I wish I had pushed a little bit further, but it's not the end of the day. Also, I feel like her arm still looks slightly off, but when I added like the fading like cloud over the top, it kind of obscures the arm a little bit, so we can just ignore that. We can just pretend that's not there. Also, I wanted to say a massive thank you for the response I got to my same face syndrome video. I was not expecting that video to do well at all when I uploaded it, so now that it's gotten over like 100,000 views, I'm really surprised because I was not expecting that at all. And I saw a lot of interesting discussion down in the comments of that video, and it was just a really nice experience to make that video and see what you guys had to say as well. I'm really glad you guys enjoyed that, and I 100% meant what I was saying in that video, which was along the lines of I want to start to branch out and draw different things. And I know I said in yesterday's video that I am sick of drawing the same quote unquote conventionally attractive like girls every single week. I want to change up what I'm drawing and change up the subject matter too. Maybe draw more animals as well, because I really enjoyed that cat drawing I did recently, and I just want to change it up because I'm getting bored of my own art and I think it's time to do more interesting things on this channel, more challenges as well, because art challenges are fun. So yeah, I think this will probably be the last drawing of a like pretty girl on this channel for a while, because I want to try new things. So next week I am doing a drawing Ulysses, but both the characters that I'm picking in that video are going to be male characters. So I know that with my drawing Ulysses I normally pick female characters, and I wanted to give you guys who have male characters a chance to get your character drawn. So if you haven't entered yet and you want the chance for me to draw your character, you can either upload a picture of your character to Instagram with their backstory and make sure you include the hashtag JennaDrawMyOC, or you can enter via email. My email is jenna.draw2014@gmail.com, and just title the email with drawing your OCs, and once again include a picture of your character as well as a backstory. So yeah, if you wanted to get in that video, I would say enter quickly because I will be choosing the characters very soon, probably within the next like 3 days. Another thing I wanted to mention was that I switched to Clip Studio Paint to do the trees in the background, and the reason I did this was because I feel like with something more organic like trees, because they've got like bark on them and they're much more of a natural kind of thing, I wanted to paint them with my rough dry brushes and my gouache brushes, and these kind of brushes I only really have in Clip Studio Paint, and I've been really loving Clip Studio Paint lately because it is just so easy to paint texture in it, and I find that when I paint anything in Paint Tool Sight, it just always ends up looking too smooth. So that is why I went into that to do the trees, and I don't think it's showing yet, but in a moment I do actually add like these bright spots of light onto the trees to make them look even more magical. Like I really wanted to go for this magical fantasy vibe, and I wish I had pushed it a little bit further and actually gone and made some like magical plants and put them on the trees, like sort of like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what I'm envisioning. There's that scene in Avatar, I feel like, where they have like those magical plants. I might be completely making that up, but I wanted to have like magical plants growing up the trees, and I got a bit bored of painting the trees. I'll be honest with you guys, I got really bored. Backgrounds are not my forte. That's another thing I'm working on. So if I were to go back and repaint parts of this piece, part of it would be to include more like plants going up the trees and a little bit more foliage, just to make the world feel slightly more cohesive and together. I also want to talk about the fact that someone said to me recently, can you please draw people of different ages more? And I'm actually planning on drawing my character Gareth more often, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll put a little image on screen of him now. I haven't painted Gareth in a really long time, but he's definitely one of my favourite characters to paint. I think that older characters too are just really fun to do because they have wrinkles, and wrinkles are really fun to paint. And it is a little bit challenging too because it's very easy to make a wrinkle look bad. Gareth is a lot of fun to draw, and he is one of my favourite characters in my comics, so I will hopefully be doing more drawings of him soon. And another thing I wanted to talk about was the similarities between this piece and my, oh my god, I've completely forgotten what it's called, the redraw I did of Princess Lila that I did in January. I know that this piece is slightly similar to it. I only realised when I got to about this point of the drawing that they both have girls with flowing hair in a magical forest. I don't know why that was the sort of things that I used to draw all the time. It's because I love anything fantasy and I love like hair blowing in the wind. I love drawing things like that. So that's why they both happen to be quite similar paintings, but it was only towards the end that I noticed that. My sister pointed it out too. And then finally I just added in the little fairies, but I wanted to have them interacting with her a little bit more. So there's one that's standing on the tip of her finger, and there's one that's holding the very end of her hair, and I just thought that was so cute. I could have like imagined this little fairy braiding her hair, and I just love painting fairies. I want to do like more fairy paintings, but like I said, I will be doing new and different things hopefully soon. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your support lately. You have no idea how much it means to me. I just hit 150,000 subscribers and I'm still pinching myself because it only feels like yesterday that I was celebrating reaching 100. So thank you so much everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again next week with my Drawing Euroseas video. Bye guys! Okay you guys, I know I said the video was over, but that was before I realised I made a fatal error. I've drawn the hand the wrong way around. I've gone the whole video without noticing. I went the whole editing process without noticing. I was about to click upload and then I realised, oh my god, her hand is facing the wrong way. So I've had to go in. It is now 2 AM. I've had to go in and completely repaint the hand, and now this video is going up late. Couldn't upload it knowing that the hand was the wrong way around. So I fixed the hand. This is the fixed hand. I know it's not as good as the old hand looked, but I don't care anymore. It is fixed. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys. For real this time.